Thank you for attending the council meeting on the 9th of January in the new year 23. They are going too fast at the moment. I'd like to thank the councillors for participating in previous meetings and for the hard work they've been doing over the last year. We're starting to see the fruition of some of that hard work. If you've been up to the skate park recently, you'll see that it's pretty well complete. We've got to get some finishing touches to it, and the other park at London Road. But there's other things happening, and yeah, thank you for the hard work that you're doing. So appreciate it. Any apologies for absence? I think everyone's here, aren't they? Full house, well done. Declarations of interest. Councillor Tyra.
6B.
6B. Okay. Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, I've got a few. You can, well, they're probably better put under DPIs.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave for all of the below the line items because I think
Okay.
there might be there's obviously, yeah, some that are a little bit hazy, so it's just better that I leave. And then I'm also going to leave a DPI for when the checks are being accepted, well, the checklist and tax payments. Because there's one on there, Rogers and Norton, and I know it's nothing to do with me, but I feel like indirectly maybe, so I'm just going to go just for
better err on the side of caution.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Thank you. Any other interests? Okay. If we can go on to public participation, your representation from up, I understand as well.
Yes. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this evening, and thank you also for the support with our application and premises on Oxford land last year as well. It was greatly appreciated. Just to help bring a bit of background about who Up are, so I'm the community liaison manager, and Up as a company are building full fibre broadband across the east of England, predominantly focused in Norfolk and Lincolnshire. So we're bringing gigabit broadband speeds to market towns and some surrounding villages. So for people of Attleborough and Norfolk, it's really game changing for broadband connectivity. The UK alone is 35 or 35th in the world for connectivity speeds, so it shows that there's still a lot of progress to be made with broadband, and particularly myself as a resident of Norfolk and the East of England very much needing to push on with the connectivity as well. So we're building our own full fibre network, so putting our own fibre cables into the open reach infrastructure and putting fibre all the way to the premises for businesses or residents. So we'll start to see our vans around the town with our contractor Make Happen. So it's just to help explain who the vans are that suddenly start appearing as they're putting our fibre around the town, and hopefully be able to bring really good connectivity to the town and the residents and businesses. So we're hoping to have a good update in the next maybe 2 or 3 months around how the progress is going. Ultimately, it's dictated by the infrastructure that we find there and how quickly we can pull our own fibre into the ground. But I'll make sure that the town council are aware of progress. And separately, with my role, I'm very keen to engage with the local community as well. So a lot of opportunities, and Michelle's kindly helped me already with introductions and information. But anything community event organisation or anything else that we can help or support with, please do get in touch as well, and we'll be happy to look at and see what we can do to help. But yeah, thank you again for all the support so far, and look forward to helping the residents of Attleborough continue to grow with the connectivity that's taking place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I thought that might be one thing.
I'm Debbie, I'm Chair of Events and Communication. One thing which I really think would be beneficial is that if you keep the public aware of what you're working on. We do have an ongoing, I don't like to say issue, with roadworks in the town, and I think the more that we can inform the community the positive job you're doing and what the end goal is, that will stop any negativity. And then, as spoken to Michelle, I'll get you a list of all the events that we've provisionally got planned. The first one being Shrove Tuesday, if you want to come and toss some pancakes. That way. But I think really communication via, unfortunately in Attleborough, I think there's something like 9 different social media sites. There's a few of them that have got large numbers of followers, but I think the more publicity that we can put out, the better.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yes, Michelle.
And I was just
going to follow on to what you're saying for events and communications is that we have spoken about, told you about the newsletter, haven't I? So it's possible that I might put something into our
Yeah.
newsletter, which would be really helpful in helping people understand as well.
That would be very good, particularly as the new story coming up. Yeah, thank you very much. No problem, thank you. Anything else from public participation?
Just a little one. The BT advertising, is up and running on floor.
Is it? That's new. to me. Well done. I didn't realise.
Do we know how you get to advertise anything on it, or?
I believe it's through Breckland Council. We can find out contact details from that and publicise it. That's a very good point. Well made.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Councillor Taylor.
Hi, I had a call from Mr. Hine this morning. It's about the correspondence that's on the agenda and the walk-in centre, and he was very displeased with the response from the GP surgery in the meeting papers. Yeah, so he asked me if I would pass that on.
Yeah.
And secondly, just to ask when the live streaming will resume, because we obviously wanted to watch the meeting this evening.
Yeah.
I advised him he wouldn't be able to, but it would be uploaded. So he just asked for clarification on that as well.
Yeah, we're still working on the technical issues that there is with our bandwidth. As soon as we get those resolved, possibly with the help of that, we will be able to get this live stream, because we will get internet and live streams going on there. It's damaging the quality of the videos that are remaining on YouTube.
Mhm.
What we are doing at the moment, though, is within the day or two afterwards, we are uploading the content onto the YouTube, so it's still accessible via that channel.
When they are uploaded, because I don't know if this is the second inquiry I've had about this now, could members just have a quick email to say it's now available, so if anyone does ask us, we can let them know. Because I don't know if anyone else has had anyone come to them, but this is the second person that's asked me, so
Yeah,
it'd be
by all
good
means.
to be able to
that's
say
absolutely
it's
fine.
there now.
Thank you. Anything else? No? Okay. Right, we'll carry on. The minutes of the town council meeting held on the 5th of December 2022. Any comments? Yes, Vera.
Actual on public participation first session, parking in New Road, not New North Road, near the school. Sorry, it said near the school. I haven't got a school near me in New North Road, but it's New Road, please.
Okay.
It's just a factual one. Nothing else.
Any others? With that amendments, would anyone like to propose their acceptance? Councillor Dale, anyone would like to second that? Yeah, Councillor McKinnon, and show of hands for approval, please. Any opposed and abstentions? We have those that were to the meeting, yes. Sorry.
Sorry, could I just, sorry, have you found it? Sorry,
New Road.
trying to find a bit.
New Road, yes, near the
Yeah.
yeah, near you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, item 6A, which is plan applications for ratification. Any queries? If we're happy with those, could someone propose their acceptance? Councillor Tyra with Councillor Bond second, and a show of hands for approval. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Councillor Dale abstained. On to 6B, if we could just wait for Councillor Tyra to leave the room. This is item finishing 1413/EU, which is the annex adjacent to Potmere Cottage, Clapham Road. Any comments, queries, or objections? To me, it looks really straightforward. Enhance the building. I have no objections personally. So we'll just make a note of this. No objections? No objections. Could somebody invite Councillor Tyra back? Sorry to see. The next item is ending in 1,300 plus, which is the land to the south side of Swansea Lane, which is for poultry houses. I think from the new elections, that's going to be part of the Ellingham area, but where it stands at the moment, I think it's still within ours.
I'm happy to comment if you'd like me to,
Yeah.
or not, because I am obviously a councillor. So the reason that this is relevant is really from the infrastructure, traffic perspective.
Right. So, any questions, queries? I think I'll be picked up on highways anyway, won't they? So, no objections?
No.
Next item, treble 08, BTM, telecommunications site land. And that's to replace the tower with another tower, a taller tower, to allow us to go for the higher speeds. I think this has come to council in different ways before. We'll be positive. We want to get as much 4G and 5G coverage to enhance our 1 gigabit systems on.
We're all sitting here with mobile.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think last time it was very positively received. Has anyone changed their minds and have an objection this time? No? Okay, so no objections to that one. Next item, 1441 /FHOU. This is 16 Dodds Road rear extension. Once again, I think it was like the previous one. There was nothing I saw that was untoward. No objections. 1421 which is construction of the dairy kennel building and associated auxiliary buildings. No? No objections. Okay, to bring this together, then, so there's no objections on those that are raised. If anyone wanted to propose that as our response. Councillor Bond, Councillor McKinnon, second, and a show of hands for approval. Any opposed? And abstentions? Councillor Devonstein. On to financial matters. Thank you, Taylor. Okay, to authorise payments. Any questions? Councillor Ellis.
She's at the room. Rogers and Woodall, employment and pay dismissal.
Yes.
Who's that to?
That's to the solicitors who are managing the case at the moment.
Well,
Unfair dismissal.
yeah, but who's being paid out?
Pardon?
Who's being paid out?
Rogers and also
That's
That's
what
them
they
that
do.
put a bill into us.
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, would anyone like to propose their acceptance? Councillor Westby, Councillor Dale, second, show of hands for approval. Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention, Councillor Montague. To agree direct debits. Sorry. You can come in for this one before you shoot out for the next one. Direct debits. Any questions? Would someone be so kind as to propose? Councillor Sosa and Councillor Montague, show of hands for approval. Any objections? Any abstentions? No. Okay, so it's approved. And to receive income.
What is the, sorry, what is the memorial on that? Funerals. Oh, okay.
Yeah. on the income. Any other questions? If anyone would like to propose, so Councillor Dale, Councillor Montague second, show of hands for approval. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, opposed. For information, petty cash. Any questions? No. Income and expenditure report for November 2022 for information. Any questions?
Right, I only had one, I know I won't be able to find it, will I? But where's the expected expenditure over the year, the one that's actually over 112.8%. The month number, well, page 4. Percent spent 112.8%. I mean, I know their figures, but do we have a problem there or is it covered elsewhere? So page 4. No,
The open spaces indirect.
yeah. Open spaces indirect expenditure.
Yeah, I'd have to go down and work out exactly what it is, but if you look at things like the rates have gone up 152.1%.
It may be down to the wheel park. The wheel park is listed under that, and it wasn't specifically put down as a project prior to the year for the budget.
That's coming out of general reserve, so yeah, what will happen with that figure is that will then come out of
Well,
reserves at the end of the
It's
year.
just that,
So it
you know,
might
it's
be part
just
of
a
that.
concern, it's,
We've
we're
got
over
tree
expecting.
workers over as well, 146.
But those are covered in the general.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Thank you. Go on to 8. Appropriately, budget for the next calendar year. Sorry, fiscal year. Do we have any questions or queries on this?
Like, to say anything?
Yeah, of course. You can come in.
Well, just to take anyone's got any specific questions, so, we're in a slightly different world to what we were this time last year, where it's pretty much impossible, not to see the rising costs. What I put forward is as a possible, proposal for a pre-select here is a 12.1% increase. That's obviously a lot more than last year. It's significantly less than some other councils are having to go to 20–30%, which is horrendous. But we are lucky that we've got some contingency in anyway. There's a few things in here that are unavoidable increases. We've got things like £12,000 for the election because it's just one of those years. We've got I've all these written down and now I've lost them. We've got little things like later on, we'll talk about in correspondence whether we want to pursue the crossing on Queen's Road. We've put £8,000 in for that if we do, because we have to do the feasibility study before Norfolk County Council will consider it. We've had to put an average of 12% on all consumables and supplies, and I've put 50% on electricity and gas, things like that. We've also had money come in this year that we won't necessarily get next year. The wages have gone up. I mean, it's kind of hard really it's hard to find something that hasn't gone up, unfortunately. There is additional money that I have put in the budget that we could take out, which is £30,000. Now, the reason I put that £30,000 in is there was a lot of talk within the events committee about bringing to full council proposals to upgrade, which I believe has been talked about lots of times in the past, upgrade the town hall with the view to it being a sort of higher quality venue, possibly looking at the kitchen, possibly looking at other things that we might want to improve. Now, last year we did a lot of improvements, but they weren't budgeted for. So it's a case of, well, we can make the precept lower, but then we haven't got any money to do anything if we want to do it. So there is a trade-off if you want to have some money in the bank to do projects. That being said, at the moment, I haven't put anything in the budget for the aspirational chapel project that we've discussed before. I haven't put anything in the budget for the Jubilee Woodland. So if we get the S106, that will then be down to grants and reserves to find. So really, it's for councillors to decide, are there any other big projects that you might want to do that we need to consider? Because if they're not in there, there just won't be the money to do them this year.
Sorry, yes.
I was going to say that 30,000 sounds a very reasonable sum to me if we're going to upgrade the facilities. If you keep putting it off, you never, it's got to speculate to accumulate. You're never going to get the quality of lettings in here unless we upgrade the facilities. Whether this is the right year to do it, with the way everything is going up and how difficult it is, but percentage increases sometimes give a misleading thing, because when you translate that to cold hard cash, it's not that much. But then in the current situation, every pound that comes out of every public pocket is important.
So if it helps to put 12.1% into context, based on a band D, which is obviously one of the higher bands, that's £3.29 a week.
A week.
That's the increase. Or the total.
No, the total.
What was our precept last year?
So our precept last year was 611 something, and it's gone up to 685 potentially there.
Michelle, do you have the increase per week? So rather than, obviously, if it's £19 or whatever it was you just said a week, do you know what it is?
329. I'd have to, I can nip upstairs and find that for you.
What it is at present? Because I'm just wondering, do you know how much? Because I'm not even joking. Like, I literally think we're at a time where every penny counts.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, we delivered 30 free Christmas dinners to local families, going through the 2 schools to identify families that might benefit the most. And my dad literally had a mum cry when he gave her dinner for her and her family. Like, it's really emotional. And I literally just think, like, if you're in a position where you'd be struggling to do that for your family, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think you're getting into the areas of social care, aren't you? And
no, what I'm saying is, anyone like this increase, it's literally the people out there that are going to be paying that difference. Like, this is the increase for them. I don't think it's something that we should take lightly. So that's, I know it might only be a matter of pennies or pounds, but I'm just wondering what that increase looks like.
Okay, so that's what I well, I was just going to sort of develop on that a little bit. Sorry, no, you can do. And say a couple of things, which was firstly, that is on a band D. So low income families don't pay that.
Yeah.
They don't pay that. So that's the first thing to remember, because I totally get where you're coming from. The second thing is, would you like me to calculate what the difference would be if we took that money for improvements off? Because I can't do that right now this second.
No, because I think realistically that is something we need, but I just.
On a band B, it gives you an idea, it's gone up by around about 50p
A week. Okay.
and the kitchen improvements on it would work out to be around about 1.1 to 1.2p.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I can look at that.
So per capita.
I can still sleep tonight.
But also that 30 grand is not necessarily for doing work, is it? It's for actually seeing what's possible.
Yeah.
30 grand with that, is that put in to do work?
Yeah.
Is that raised to do?
Good thing to consider doing up the town hall. If you leave it, it becomes more expensive.
Generally, I mean, capital investment projects have a long history because of the money that you've got to spend on it, have been left and left and left. I mean, think of road improvements. It started off as a £50 million project, ending up as £200-300 million projects because they've been left like the A11. for years and years and years, until somebody has to bite the bullet. So
Yeah.
if we can do that improvement, which is relatively modest, I feel we should do improve facilities for our community going forward. It protects a valuable asset of the community as well. I think it's worthwhile having that contingency there as well to be even determined at some point if we don't quite feel that that's the right course, but it's a contingency.
Well, it's in as general
Yeah.
maintenance repairs, so it could be used for anything really. The other thing that I will mention on that, because I saw Roger spoke, can't remember that was based, if we were to go and put a commercial kitchen in there, you're talking way above what we would want to spend and what would be, I think, reasonable for us to spend. So the reason those figures seem quite modest is they're based on the fact that actually we might need a couple of commercial ovens, but actually domestic kitchen units would be enough for what we need in there. So that's where my mind was in making it more affordable, because nobody that's a resident in this day and age is going to want to see spend 200 grand on a commercial kitchen. It's just absolute. So it's finding a way that we can smarten it up, have the facilities like a commercial dishwasher, maybe a commercial oven, because caterers will bring in everything else. But I do understand Councillor Taylor's comments as well about the fact that every penny does count at the minute.
Any other questions on the budget?
Just a congratulations to Michelle for the hard work that's gone into it.
There's a lot of consideration gone into this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. It's not an easy thing to do. You can, Councillor Lane as proposes. Anyone would like to second that? Councillor Westby, and a show of hands for approval. That is unanimous as far as I can see. Thank you very much. Item 9, community emergency plan. Okay. Any questions, queries, feedback on this one, please?
So I guess this is a work in progress, is it? That we're looking for comments on, or?
This is
Yeah,
the
it
draft.
came from the standard audit review committee.
Right. Good work.
It is, and to be fair, it's practical with a lot of common sense without going to extremes, because there's a lot of things when there's emergencies that people like Brecon or Norfolk County Council or other, emergency services will step in and do that we don't need to duplicate. And if anything, we need to just get out their way and let them do it.
We'll make a tea.
So this covers those areas where there may be some assistance offered in those events, but without taking on those events, and covers more localised things that wouldn't be covered by other agencies. So it's a good piece of work, but it does need ownership. It can't be the clerk that owns this, which is one of those things. Provisionally, it was put down the Taylor's name. If you're still happy with that,
Still happy to.
and if you want an assistant, I know that Dominic has expressed interest in assisting in that. So if we put you down as lead and assistant, are you happy for that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are to.
Yeah. Okay, so
Do we propose it for that?
yeah, but if there's any more comments first before. No, Taylor, you're very happy.
No,
to
do you know what? This has come backwards and forwards a few times now. I mean, to be fair, the original draft that Michelle presented was pretty good, and then it got like a bit nitty gritty, and it started taking form. And I think that actually something in a basic form like this is really good.
So, yes.
No, I was just going to say, it can be a living document as well.
Yeah.
You can add things, change
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. And if you find, we get to an emergency and it doesn't quite work, you review it, you improve it, and you learn the lessons. Yeah. So Councillor Taylor, you still happy to make that
Yeah,
proposal?
it's accepted with myself as like lead coordinator, and then Councillor D'Souza as my deputy coordinator.
You happy with that title, Dominic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Anyone like to second that? Councillor Wenham, and a show of hands for approval. Okay, I think it's unanimous, but, okay, thank you.
We'll do yours, don't worry.
Right, councillor reports. Pete, would you like to make a report? You don't have to, I just saw you here, if you want to make a report,
I've got one or two items just
go for it.
give you. We didn't have the town council's one.
Oh, you're always first, Keith.
All right, thank you. I attended cabinet this morning, which has got a large agenda. If I'm not a cabinet member, I've always been a backbencher. The budget was on the agenda, which we had some long discussion. And would you believe at Brecon credit term, we've still got a balanced budget. We've still got to supply all the services for this year and next year.
Well done.
All right, so the increase, I think, will be about £1.86 per week increase, includes all the services. Where we don't know what the police commissioner got to do yet, didn't know what county council they now decided, and the county council. So the credit to the team has done that, and the cabinet member for finance. The other thing was, we had a local plan update. All right, that's 9 topics on there, so people can put their questions in there and do. It's going to be on the out, so like this space, you know. I've got all the topics here, but we won't be to make it. It covers a good lot, you know. All right.
Thank you.
I've got we've got licensing committee in that on Wednesday, and then we're going to have an update on the development of Abbey Farm. Abbey Farm developments, we're now redoing the work. I think it's flagship, isn't it? I got you. Probably. So we've got to have a presentation, the planning members.
Yeah.
And we've got a planning meeting coming up shortly. 1 or 2 items on, I haven't read it, but we'll sort of say what they are. All right. Otherwise, I think all right.
Thank you very much, Keith.
Unless I remember something else.
That's all right. Any other councillors would like to give a report? Councillor Lane and then Councillor Taylor.
Do you want to do district? Anything district?
Well, to be fair, I don't really know what capacity I'm coming at this at, because I wear so many hats, but 2 things, just obviously because the town council of the landowners. The last litter pick that was done, down Deepwood Common, there was a lot of gas canisters. And I did mean to email in and I just haven't, like I've just been obviously doing 101 things. But there's a lot of gas canisters there, so we've cleared them away, but maybe it might be something worth keeping an eye on. And then the second thing was just to say that in Queen Square coming spring, there's just an additional like 1,500 to 2,000 bulbs gone in. So that's going to look really nice.
Yeah, well, we saw the soil coming on Saturday and stuff.
Yeah, we've only got the back beds to do now, level it up and put the mulch on. But yeah, we've got an additional 1,500, 2,000 bulbs. So that's
Well
going to
done.
look
You
really
can send this onto the bloomers.
good. Yeah, it's going to look so good.
Can I just also say,
Yeah.
brilliant that you've recycled the Christmas tree. That was absolutely
Very last minute,
Spot
but
on.
yeah, good idea.
Well done. Thank you. Councillor Lane?
Yeah, I just want to quickly update everyone on events. What we've done is we've put together a provisional schedule for this year of sort of town council-led events. But as ever, we're sort of working on the hope that we can get the community to start to take some of the events over, which Michelle will circulate that tomorrow. So the first event, as I mentioned earlier, will be Shrove Tuesday, which falls in half term. The second thing is, I've gone ahead of myself. I sent a report out to the December meeting, but it didn't include the December's events. So I just want to thank Councillor Dale for doing the glitter and the glue event with the children. They had one doing their Christmas craft afternoon, which was, and the other thing that we ran over the Christmas period was the cinema, which again, that was very well received. Although I don't think we sold out the adult one, did we? Or not?
No, that's happened.
Not the
That's happened
adult.
every time we've done it. The children's ones sell out immediately. The adults are. It's do you not do it, or do you do it because it's nice for the 20 people that do come?
Yeah.
I think that's what we do.
But we're planning to do that again a few times this year, so we're going to look at that as a committee. Newsletter, as was mentioned earlier on, we're planning to do the seasonal edition, so the next one will be the spring edition, which we're just about to contact all community groups to get their list of events for that, and working on the basis of keeping it simple like we did the first one, because that was well received. The other thing is London Red opening. Do we want to talk about that, Michelle?
Really a case of setting a date. So the park is unofficially open because they've finished and taken house fencing away, but they haven't finished the fencing and they haven't removed a pile of spoil. So it's a case of, do we do it now while it's still quite fresh, or do we wait till it's completely finished before we do the official opening? You can't stop people going on it.
What
People
would
going
you
on it,
guys-
loving it.
Play some better weather as well.
Yeah, I think we wait till the project's finished and then we can showcase it as a, yeah.
Yeah.
Open at the start of term.
That's a really good idea.
When are they planning to do all the snagging and remove the soil?
We don't know, so they told us they were running out of time before Christmas and it would be one of the first jobs back, and Anne's chasing them again today, so we're just chasing, really.
But
Pardon?
About 5 weeks to 6 weeks.
So,
what I was
yeah.
going to say is if we had a set date for the official opening, then they have to have it done and tidied up for
Very
that
good
date.
point, yeah. I'll give them a date for February half term.
We got any money
Or the
left?
Saturday at the half term, beginning of half term, so Saturday morning might be a good idea.
I'll find out when that is circulated.
Yeah.
Just looking now.
Tuesday is the 23rd.
Sorry,
Are we still at?
we haven't paid the rate
That's right.
at all.
Hold on to it.
They're doing well, they're not, are they?
The 18th.
Half-term holiday would be Saturday, the 11th of February.
No, it's the following week. We've had this before, because you're looking at Suffolk, aren't you?
Because Norfolk, yeah, it is Norfolk.
Is it 13th?
Yeah, well, according to Norfolk's website, it says half
Right,
term was from Monday the 13th to Friday the 17th,
Okay.
so the Saturday prior to that should be the
Wow.
11th.
So that is too long.
No.
No, okay, so we'll see what we can do on
And
Yes.
the last-
Come to me, what I was sort of mentioning.
that. Sorry, Debbie, you finish first. We got one more
one more thing.
and then we'll go to Keith.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is, we've penciled in as well, in the diary, we'll be doing regular councillor cafes. We've planned them to be the week before we have a full council meeting. So when people come along, if they've got anything that they want raising at full council meeting, and we're hoping to work alongside the police who do their coffee with a cop. And this will take place in the small meeting room, which was the tourist information room at the front. And I'll get, again, Michelle will circulate these dates to councillors. So anybody that wants to come along, hopefully we'll have a minimum of 2 councillors there to meet with the public, along with having a room upstairs if anybody wants to speak to a councillor privately. And we're doing it on a rotational basis. So the first one is on a Saturday morning, the next one is on a Friday morning. The one after that is on a Thursday evening. So hopefully each month there's a time when members of the public can come along throughout the year. And we haven't at the moment put one in for December. People might be doing other things in December. But those dates will come through and anyone that can come along, hopefully.
Thank you very much.
With coffee.
Keith, you had another point to
Oh,
raise?
yeah, just, I was speaking to the exec member this morning, Paul Hewitt, about, he's been in control of our car parks here. So the reports with the recommendations will be going to the next scrutiny meeting. I'm not scrutiny member, if he said if I was available, I'll go along and I'm going to support his recommendations anyway. I will say what's the idea.
I was going to say, what are they?
That would be useful to know what their recommendations are for councillors to at least consider. And if we could,
He'll publish the agenda soon, won't he?
okay,
That'll be perfect. Right.
thank you. Okay. We'll move on to correspondence. First one, it was mentioned earlier, the public participation about the walk-in centre consideration. I think we all agree that'd be a great idea. Facilitating it isn't so easy. I don't think the response was particularly helpful. However, we do know how healthcare provision is under stress at the moment. The healthcare report that has been commissioned by the town council and has been published now goes a long way to identify this as one of those viable options that will help alleviate the need for travel and prevent further illnesses progressing. So it's something that we've identified and something that we're in conversation with as part of the whole collective of healthcare provision within the community. I think all we can respond as councillors is to say, yes, we are supportive of this, providing with a copy of the healthcare report, I think would be useful, and to say that we are in conversation with key stakeholders to see what we can do to help improve healthcare provision within the community. That's about as much as we can promise at this moment. Unless anybody else wants to make any other comments. Yeah.
Can I just say, this is half on this subject, the library building. And I know that, you know, I feel quite strongly that that building is, we've gone another year with it just sitting there being full of whatever Norfolk have decided to store in there. And I wonder if there's any way that we can maybe start putting some pressure on to actually see if that can be brought back into the use of the community, because we're short of community buildings, and there's that building in the middle of town which is being used for storage.
At the moment, I would say the answer is no. We have tried applying pressure last year. We've gone to County Council directly on this, and at present, its use is what the use is, and they're not open to discussion any further on this. The only other provision they had was use for Northern County Council purposes, and not for ourselves and the community per se. So if it does get changed, it'll be for another use for Northern County Council, and they weren't willing to have a conversation about it. I'm being honest about it. Yes.
Just a quick one, Mr. Chair. We got that registered as a community asset for the town of Brecon. I didn't bring the page, but it's there as a community asset. So it's whatever happens, it should be offered to the community. Same as the lighthouse down Harpen Road.
They are aware that it's down as a community asset, and the way they have framing discussion with us is that its use currently is as a community asset with storage of, yeah, but it is for the benefit of the community, and the potential use that they could be used for is also for the community as they use. Okay. Well, I won't say any more on that. Okay, but yes, are you happy for us to respond in that manner to this?
Yeah.
To signpost the healthcare report and say that we are supportive of this.
100%.
Yeah, so, did anyone?
Now, can I just make a
Yes,
quick
sorry.
question? Where is our nearest walking centre? Is it,
Norwich Road. Norwich.
how do people without transport get to Thetford?
Go on the train.
There's no bus. Yeah. It's not particularly great. No. Are you all happy with us for responding that way?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just with the community cards, because I know that's got a point. I know this wouldn't be in question, but it's linked to obviously health, and it's like health appointments, isn't it? Like doctors and hospital appointments. With the community card scheme, like this kind of circumstance. Potentially, but no. So I'm going to bring up my area, isn't it? I'm going to bring community cards up in another meeting because I haven't got it on this agenda. The problem with the community cards is there's a few problems. Being a community car driver is not particularly something that many people want to do. You know, there's nothing attractive about it. You know, you have to be available at various times. And the problem is that, and this isn't Brecton's fault, it's a government thing, that the price per mile hasn't gone up, and yet we know fuel's gone up and everything else. So we are really, really struggling for drivers. We've only got 4 drivers. One of them is now incredibly ill, so that leaves us with 3 drivers. The 3 drivers we've got left are working really, really hard, but we are turning people away every day, or even now, and it's really sad. And in a way, I'm glad we've taken it on, because we can see that we've got a massive problem here.
Demand.
So the demand far, far, far outstrips what we can supply. And I don't know how we're going to fix that unless we can make it a more attractive proposition for people. So it's an issue we need to talk about something.
Guessing also the very nature of a walk-in system, you're going to want to pick it up now rather than looking in advance. Which is not again what we can, but
No, but it is something that we have enough drivers. We might have drivers potentially. We could say, can you do short notice trips? But at the moment, we've got people booking 2 weeks ahead, and we're having to say that, which is really sad.
Let's put that, let's park that.
I think we need
Up
to-
there.
Yeah.
That's another agenda for a great discussion, but in response to this one, absolutely, we would support wholeheartedly a walking centre locally, and extra provision. The healthcare report demonstrates a need for it, and we are doing what we can, key stakeholders, to see if these sort of provisions can be done. I'm happy to propose that as a response. Says Councillor Bond, secular Shans for approval. Thank you. Item 11B. Pedestrian crossing, which was mentioned in the budget. £6,000 for a feasibility study for a pedestrian crossing. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it says. Around £6,000 on the tender.
did you get quotes or did you just get some?
No. This is from Norfolk County Council. They're telling us, because we keep nagging them about the crossing, they're saying if you would like us to look at crossing, you'll have to pay for the feasibility study, which is around 6,000. Let us know if you want to proceed.
I suggest going to tender.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, if we can,
So all you need to do, as long as you come up with a design that fits highway standards of Norfolk County Council, they'll take it in-house and do the feasibility study and charge you whatever they're charging.
So do you think that's high?
Well, yeah, because developers get their own
Yeah.
consultants to do crossings and everything.
Okay. Okay.
so are you able, with your expertise, to assist the clerk in obtaining that?
Yeah, if you send me the brief, you send it to county. So checking like for like.
We haven't sent a brief to county.
or even worse.
No, so what this is
It's a Pelican crossing.
this is no crossing at the moment. This is when we have correspondence from residents saying, we're really worried it's really dangerous, someone's going to die,
Okay.
and we forward that to Norfolk County Council. This is what they've come back with.
Surely the feasibility study would have to be Norfolk, because if we pay someone else to do a feasibility study and they go, yeah, you need to cross it, we then send it to Norfolk, they'll go, no, that's not happening.
I
No,
don't know.
the consultants you would get it would be compliant with highway standards for one, the volume of traffic, secondly, the volume of pedestrian traffic. And the right system for.
Okay, are we happy to look into this further?
I mean, it's entirely up to council, if you want to spend £6,000, spend £6,000.
Perhaps what we need to do at this stage is allow the clerk to take us away and have a look at various options with help and expertise where needed, and to bring it back to council for discussion.
Can I just say that it's where the school crosses, we haven't got a crossing patrol there at the moment
No.
as well. So it would serve residents, but also school children crossing there.
Sorry,
So
point of clarification, the county said they would pay for a crossing as well.
The county have just said that we need to prove it's feasible for them to it further. They want us to pay for the initial legwork, I guess, and then they'd have to decide whether to put it in their budget. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I can certainly go back and say that, clarify if we do a feasibility study and we then present that to you, are you saying you're then from the cost it, we need to clarify all of this?
Looking at 36,000.
Yeah.
Just to dampen expectations.
Yeah, I was going to say we can spend a lot of money and then they'll just be met with a brick wall.
Yeah, that's also high probability.
Very high.
We're being honest about it.
I think this is done in 2 stages. So the first stage would be for Michelle to go back to them and say, if we did undertake a feasibility study and it demonstrated that there
Yeah.
was a demand, would you then pick up the costs associated with obviously providing that facility? And then on the back part of that, obviously have a conversation with Councillor Tyler away from here, what the options are for undertaking the feasibility study itself, and then come back to council with the options.
Or if there is a need, we bring it into future Brecon Market Town projects that has just come out in terms of accessibility, connectivity, and linking to economic development. There is a need, therefore, Brecon Future Market Town projects, you pay for it.
Okay.
There you go. I think we've got a plan. So are we all happy about it? It doesn't need a motion. It's continuing the work that's already been delegated. So yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, public participation. Anything else? Sorry. Yes.
Thank you. The emergency plan, one thing maybe you want to consider for long. I noticed you had people that would advise you to do one thing before. We've got several groups of vulnerable people, which includes the schools and nurseries, the nursing homes and supported living. I wonder whether you would want to include them in a little box on your thing that, you know, if you knew that Sober Street was having a problem, you'd go to manager of Holly Court. Because it's something that I did as I was manager of Holly Court was have Brecon Council and schools and the churches on my list as to who I'd send people to in an emergency.
So vulnerable people then.
Yeah, you know, that was, you know, that because you know that they're specific groups. I know vulnerable people that say Pride go to are very random people over the town, the outlying villages, but these are specific, would be specific groups that you already know are definite would need help.
It would be part of that, you know, as a proactive measure to search out and reach out to these people. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a very valid point. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And on the map, I did notice it didn't go down as far as my house. I just wondered whether that's just way, but you know.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, thank
You-
you.
You're included.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry. Taylor.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've actually having a little look. I've found the correspondence from Mr. Hines, so I'll read it just so that I can say to him,
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
relayed your comments. So it was, thank you for your time on the phone earlier. Residents of Cresswell Walking Centre. I was appalled but not surprised to read residents of Cresswell Walking Centre in the meeting papers for tonight. GPs at their surgeries surely have a duty of care under the Hippocratic Oath to provide assistance, and I hope representation will be made to outdoor surgeries through the appropriate channel. And he has got care in brackets. So
Do you know what? It would be worth sending this correspondence on to our care as well.
yeah.
Yeah, we're working together anyway, so can we do that as well?
And then it goes on to say, Zooming of town council meetings. I sincerely hope that live streaming and or Zooming of town council meetings will be reinstated. I'm sure I'm not the only resident who would appreciate this when they are unable, for whatever reason, not to attend meetings in person. I would be grateful if you could raise these matters on my behalf under public participation. Many thanks, happy New Year.
Thank you. And if you can return to that, you know, we are putting this on, which should all be belated at the moment, so we can do that. Thank you. Okay. Chairman's items. The only thing that I've got on my item list is on the 24th of February, we've provisionally got a date for a civic reception. So it's Friday the 24th. And it will also be the date that we're looking to do the Local Heroes Awards. So if you do know the local heroes and you can If they haven't already made the application or made us aware of it, encourage them to do so. Have we got a deadline for that?
We did, but we keep extended it, so we did, we're gonna have, now Christmas is out of the way, I think the problem is people, you know, coming up to Christmas,
Yeah.
we need to have a big push on it.
Say the end of the month.
Yeah,
Let's go for the end of the month. That gives us time to prepare for the meeting and stuff. So that's provisionally what we're doing. If you've got anything you feel as part of the civic reception that you'd like.
So I don't know if I'm being logistics in here. So is it, are you advertising it for nominations from the
yeah, it
public
went in all the
on
newsletters
people?
and everything,
Okay.
yeah, so for people to put forward either groups or individuals that they think need to be nominated, and I'm gonna have a big push on it on social media this week as well.
Okay. But yeah, if there's any ideas as well, hasn't been set in stone, we'll consider them. So there we go. Right. The next item is the exclusion of the press and the public. You're glad to get out of here. Look at the smiles on their faces. And because of the sensitive nature of what we've got to discuss, it is proposed that we exclude the rest of the public. I will make that proposal if anyone will second that. Councillor Sosa and Joe hands for approval. And any opposed? Thank you very much. Thank you for attending. Thank you. Thank you.
No.
Never tried
Yeah, thank you very much. Not that. Literally,
Yeah.
get the shut cost of the permit. That's right. We also mind how
Seagull Common is, they went to the point.
A week to match all my glasses. Yeah.